Hey everyone, so it's almost 2023. I've been in the process of decluttering my house as a whole. I just reorganized like our downstairs closet, our linen closet, and it feels so good to declutter and reorganize and just remove products that you don't need, you're no longer using. So I thought I would just do a makeup collection declutter as well and just kind of look at my collection and declutter some products that I don't need to bring with me into 2023. So these are products that I am leaving behind as we head into the new year. I do a big declutter series every spring, but usually like once every 2 months, I'll go through my collection and just kind of try to look at it with a critical eye and really decide whether every product in my makeup collection is something I really enjoy using. If it's not something I've reached for since I did my big declutter series in the spring, or if it's just something, I've found a replacement for, then I take it out of my collection and pass it along to friends and family. And then I did find a few products that were just kind of old or expired that I need to remove as well. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. I don't know that I'll be doing a big declutter series this spring because as a whole, I feel like my collection is pretty well curated. I really do use the majority of the products in there fairly regularly, so I might push it back a little bit, but even still, I wanted to give you guys a look at the products that I am removing and why, because I have talked about these on my channel and I do enjoy some of them, but they just no longer serve a purpose in my makeup collection. The first thing I'm decluttering is something that has actually expired, and I don't feel like I've really had this in my collection for that long, but when I did my makeup declutter back in the spring, I remember either this spring or last spring, I had two of these primers. I had a full-size primer and then a mini, and I kept the mini and passed the full-size one along to, I think, my mom. And I'm glad I did that because this mini actually expired. It's the Too Faced Plump and Prime. The color is completely different. A question I tend to get a lot is how do I know that my makeup has actually expired? And for me, I typically go by the texture of a product, especially if it is like a powder, like an eyeshadow or a blush, the scent of a product, or the color. If any of those change, then I personally decide to remove the product from my collection, and this looks completely different than when I got it. It used to be like a soft, light, milky pink, and it's just a completely different color. So to me, that is a sign the product has expired. I haven't used it for a while, so it's time to get rid of this product. I will not be passing this along just to be safe. I never want to give someone expired makeup. The only other old product in my collection that I'm getting rid of are these Warrior Glitter Shadows from Flower Beauty. I have had these for years. I think they're actually one of the first makeup products I ever tried from Flower Beauty, and I remember having more at one time, but I only have 3 left. These are really dried out. I do have a couple of other like liquid glitter shadows in my collection that are still good, so I'm going to hang on to those, but I was just kind of going through them individually and I noticed that these have dried out, and that kind of makes sense because they're pretty old, so it's time to get rid of these. Everything else should still be good. I'm just decluttering it for a different reason. So I actually love this product. It's from Makeup Revolution. It's the IRL Filter Longwear Foundation. I have the shade F3. Well, I wear the shade F5, but I initially purchased F3, which is just too light for me. So one thing I noticed that I tend to do is hang on to complexion products that are the wrong shade for me. I think it's because it can be really hard to find like your perfect shade match, and even if like a certain color works for you, the undertone might be off. So a lot of the time I end up mixing foundations to get like my true perfect shade. But F5 does match me pretty well, so I'm just going to pass along F3. It's too light for me. Even if I mix this with F5, those two combined end up being too light for me, so I just feel like this is really too light for me. So I'm going to pass this product along. I've barely used it. I'm also decluttering this concealer from Kosas. I ended up purchasing a different shade that works better for me. So I've had this concealer in like 3 different shades. Originally, I had a shade that was a little bit too light. Then I had a shade that was a little bit too dark. I wear the shade 3.5. That's like my perfect shade. So with complexion products in 2023, I think I'm really going to make the effort to swatch them in person before I purchase them. This year I did try a few new complexion products, and I feel like every single time I purchased the wrong shade, and I feel like that can be pretty wasteful. So I think moving forward when it comes to like new foundations and concealers, if I'm able to, I'm going to go swatch them in store first. Anyway, the Kosas concealer is amazing. I love it. Like I said, I've purchased it in a few different shades. 5 is really dark. I don't even know how this would have worked for me in the past. I didn't get much of a tan this year, but even if I had a tan last summer, I still can't imagine this shade would work well for me because 3.5 is It's like my perfect shade match, but it's maybe like slightly darker than my skin tone right now. This is significantly darker than 3.5, so I don't even know how I was wearing this one. I was either walking around with concealer that was just significantly too dark for me, or maybe I did get a pretty significant tan 2 years ago, but I don't think so. So this product is too dark. I don't even think it would match me during the summertime, so it is time to part with this. I love the concealer itself. It's just the wrong shade, and I don't know why I'm hanging on to it. Let me share a product that I actually don't like. I was trying a few products from AF94, and I picked up the Push to Start Volumizing Mascara, and this one is in the shade Bada Bing, which is like a bright blue. I thought blue mascara would be really fun. It's been a really long time since I've tried it, and first of all, I just don't think I am a blue mascara fan. I see people wearing colorful mascara all the time, and I feel like I love how it looks on them, but then when I wear it on myself, it just looks kind of off. I definitely just prefer black mascara, and if I'm going to incorporate color, I'll just stick with like colorful eyeliner, colorful eyeshadow. So I think I'm probably done with buying colorful mascara for now. But on top of that, this mascara itself just isn't very good. The color does show up pretty well on my lashes. So that is something I wanted to point out, because sometimes when it comes to colorful mascaras, they're not very vibrant. And if you have darker lashes, they don't show up that well. This one does show up well. So if that's what you're looking for, if you have fairly good lashes and you just want like good color, this is a nice option. But the actual mascara didn't do anything for my lashes. They looked really thin. They didn't look dramatic at all. It does help if I use the Essence Lash Primer underneath this, because that just really boosts your lashes. But again, blue mascara, it's just not for me. It doesn't look great on me, so I'm going to get rid of that product. I don't know how this made it through my declutter video, but it's just not something I love. It's something I want to love, but it's just not something that works for me, so I never wear it. It's the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine. I like the way this feels on the lips. It really does feel like a very balmy lip treatment with a good amount of color, so I kind of wonder if there are other shades that would work for me. But I also don't like the way this smells or the way it tastes. I can't place it. I think it has like a shea butter taste or scent, which normally I don't mind the scent of shea butter, especially in like body lotions, but there's something about this that I don't like. And because it's on my lips, I can smell it all day while I'm wearing it. On top of that, the actual shade just doesn't look good on me. I don't know, it's like a little bit too orangey, and I always tell myself like I can pair it with a cooler toned lip liner or wear a lip gloss on top. I never end up doing that. So I would like to try additional shades, but I don't like the way this product tastes or smells. So because of that, I won't. But I do think the actual formula is nice. It's very balmy, really moisturizing, super comfortable. It just, for those other reasons, I'm decluttering it. I'm also decluttering this product from e.l.f. I've purchased this a few times throughout the years, and there was a time where I was really into using powder on my brows, but I feel like those days have gone, and I don't know that they're coming back. So this is a little duo. I don't know if they still sell this. I want to say I purchased it kind of recently, but I don't know. I feel like I've had it for a little while. So one side comes with a like tinted brow gel, and the other side is a powder. I just don't wear powder on my brows. I really only use like a tinted brow gel, and then I'll use a brow pen. Sometimes I'll use a brow pencil these days, but I never use powder. And I think I just wanted to like this because I used to use it back in the day, but it's just not something I need in my collection at this point. Speaking of brows, I am decluttering this product, and I'm sad because I really like this product. The shade is just wrong for me. It's from Merit. I feel like I can make this work, but when I use it and I look in the mirror, I feel like there's something off about my makeup, and then I realize it's this every single time. So this is their volumizing pomade in the shade Black Brown. The actual product is really, really good. I think it does a great job at locking your brows into place. It makes them look a little bit more thick, and I do like the texture of it because it doesn't leave my brows feeling crunchy, but there's a good amount of hold. So I might end up repurchasing this in a shade that works well for me, but I don't know, there are just so many good, affordable drugstore brow gels I love, like the Oma Beauty one, the NYX one, the e.l.f. one, that typically I don't buy a ton of high-end brow gels. But I do like the formula. The shade's just a little bit too dark for me. My natural brow hairs are pretty dark, but because my brows are so sparse, I feel like they don't look as dark as they are. Like my natural hair color is almost black. Like it's a very, very dark brown. So I feel like this It works, especially when I dye my hair a little bit darker, but I just prefer something a little bit softer on me personally. So that is why I'm decluttering this. I'm actually going to give it to my sister. My sister has really dark brows and really thick full brows, so I feel like this product would work perfectly for her. Let's talk about some blush. I feel like my blush preferences have changed so much in 2022, and these days I love cream blush so much. I don't necessarily have like a ton of powder blush in my collection. There are certain formulas I love that I reach for over and over, but I feel like for the most part, I want to keep the powder blushes I do have. But I decided to declutter this. It's from Milky. It is the Cheek Kiss Powder Blush Palette. So I bought this, and I also bought the cream blush palette, I think at the beginning of 2022. I love the cream blush palette. I wear that one all the time, but I just don't find myself reaching for this one. And it's not that the formula isn't good. It's just that these shades in particular are not shades that I love. Milky's baked blushes are my favorite. I think those look so good on the cheeks, really natural, really smooth. So if I am reaching for a powder blush or I'm reaching for a Milky product, I'll either reach for their baked blushes, or if I want a cream, I'll use the cream palette, but I'm just not using this one very often. I can't remember the last time I actually used it without the intent of testing it out for a review video. So that is why I'm decluttering this. I would say just stick with their baked blushes or their, do they still have those rose blushes? Those were really nice, really silky, really smooth. So either one of those would probably be a better option. I'm also decluttering these powder blushes from ColourPop. I'm sad about these because I actually love the formula. I think they look really smooth on the skin. They're different than ColourPop's other powder blushes. ColourPop does a lot of blushes for like their limited edition collections, and they tend to be really powdery, and I don't typically love the shades, but these heart blushes are so pretty, but I can't get them open. As I've been talking about this, I've been sitting here like trying to get this open. Every time I open them, I either break my nail or it takes me 10 minutes. Usually I'll end up grabbing tweezers to like pop it open. Some of you guys suggested like shaving down the opening, which I kept meaning to do, and I honestly never got around to it. So at this point, oh, I got this one open. At this point, I just need to declutter them. I don't use them because I know every single time I reach for them, it's going to take me like 10 minutes to open it, and it's just a frustrating process. I'm honestly not even trying to be dramatic. For some reason, I just cannot get them open. Even when I don't have nails, like this past week I didn't have any fake nails on, I still couldn't open them. They're just very difficult to open. The packaging is super cute. The actual blush formula is really good, which is why I do still have 3 of them in my collection. I did declutter a few of them last time I did a big declutter video, but I decided to keep these because I do love them, but because they're so difficult to use, I never reach for them. I just subconsciously skip over them, and I'm like, nope, those don't work for me. So that's why I'm deciding to declutter them this time. I am decluttering these 2 blushes from ColourPop as well. I've been wearing the ColourPop Super Shock blushes a lot lately. I think they're so pretty. The ones I have all kind of have like a glow to them, so they just make your cheeks look really healthy. And because I've been reaching for those, I honestly haven't been reaching for these blush sticks. And I have a couple of other blush sticks from other brands. I actually swatched these next to other formulas I had, and I was able to pretty much duplicate the colors. So the first one is in the shade Cottage Life. I have a shade from Persona Cosmetics that is pretty much identical, and I do prefer the Persona Cosmetics formula because it's a little bit, it's very creamy, super blendable, and these aren't quite as creamy. I do think they maybe stay in place a little bit longer than Persona Cosmetics, but for me, when it comes to blush, I'd rather have something that I can blend out faster, that looks really smooth and even, than something that's a little bit more difficult to blend out that stays in place well. This one's in the shade Picnic Time. It's really pretty. I feel like maybe my mom would like this, so I'm just going to pass these along to her. I am going to declutter this product. I was hanging on to it because I was just curious to know how long it would actually last, but I never use it. It's the Essence Lash Princess Liner. So I do have a black one and a brown one. I'm keeping the brown one because I think the brown one is a really nice option on days when I want like a true brown liquid liner. But the black one, I mean, both of them don't stay in place that well. They kind of smudge, they run on me. I feel like I can deal with it when it comes to the brown one because the color is so pretty, but I have a million black liquid liners that are really good that stay in place well, so I just don't need to keep this one in my collection. And I think, like I said, I was keeping it to see how long it would actually last. I was just curious, but I never end up using it because it's just not a great formula. I don't know where these palettes were when I did my eyeshadow palette declutter. Maybe they were in there and I just decided to keep them, but I haven't used these in forever. You know what? Maybe they were back in my background as decoration. These are from KKW Beauty, and I have two of the palettes. I have to say I really enjoyed this one. This one is Classic Blossom. I did use this one a lot, but these are shades that I do have in other palettes and other formulas that I prefer to KKW Beauty. I remember getting these on sale. I think they were part of the like 21 Days of Beauty promo, and I didn't pay full price for them, and I didn't necessarily think they were worth the high-end price tag, but I thought they were like good staple shadows. I do still love this color story. I just don't think I need this because I don't reach for it. And I have other palettes in my collection with similar colors. This one is the Classic 2 palette. I don't think the quality of this one was quite as good as Classic Blossom, but I do think the color story is pretty. It's just like a good neutral color story. But again, I just don't use it very often. I feel like I could use my Natasha Denona Glam palette and get a very, very similar look. Maybe Glam and bronze combined together. So it is time to declutter these. They look good in my background when I have them there, but that's just not really a reason why I need to keep them. I actually do have two more complexion products. These are both from Huda Beauty. So it's weird because I love Huda Beauty eyeshadows. I think they're so good, so beautiful, but pretty much everything else I've tried from the brand, I've ended up decluttering because it's never a favorite of mine. I will say I do like this product. It is the Faux Filter Skin Finish Foundation, and I have the shade Panna Cotta. But again, this shade just isn't right for me. This is something that I can make work for me, but I recently tried the Merit Foundation Stick, and I feel like that's very similar, but I like that one better. It's not quite as matte as this product. This one has like a true matte finish, and I feel like these days I don't necessarily need something super mattifying. This is also just a little bit too light for me. So because of that, I haven't been reaching for it. When I want something, like when I want a foundation stick, I'll reach for the Merit one. So that's why I'm decluttering this one. I'm also decluttering the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. This just doesn't look good on me. I've read mixed reviews on this, and some of you guys have told me you love it, some of you have told me you hate it. It sounds like something that I would love because it is more of a full coverage concealer. It's supposed to be lightweight, look really smooth under the eyes. On me, it just looks really, really dry. Like it sucks all of the moisture out of my skin, and it looks so cakey, so heavy. I thought about keeping it until like next spring or summer when my skin is extremely oily and I might want something a little bit more mattifying. But if that's the case, I have other concealers that I reach for, and I don't want this to just sit in my collection all winter, all spring, and go unused when I can give it to one of my sisters or my mom and see if they like it. I feel like my sister might like this, so I'm going to pass this product along to her. Actually, last time I did a declutter video, I got a comment from one of you guys with a video suggestion, like having my mom or my sisters rate the decluttered makeup I give them because they have different makeup preferences than me, and some things that don't work for me end up working for them, and I keep meaning to film that video. I think it would be so much fun. The last thing I am decluttering is something that just didn't work for me, and I'm so sad about it because I really wanted to love this. It's from the brand About Face. It is the Cheek Freak Blush Balm, and I really thought I would like this, especially when I initially swatched it because it has a really nice, soft, silky texture. But when I apply this to my cheeks, it just looks really bad, no matter what I apply it on top of. If I'm wearing foundation, if I'm wearing powder, it doesn't matter. It ends up looking really cakey, and it doesn't look smooth on the skin at all. It also has like no color payoff at all. I think based on like the packaging and what the blush looks like in the pan, I just thought it was going to be really vibrant. And you know, when I first got this, the color was kind of different than I thought. I think I thought it was going to be more of like a bronzy nude, but it's a bright orangey coral. So because it doesn't have great color payoff, I thought it would be okay, but it is so subtle that it barely shows up on my skin tone. So I don't know. I think a lot of you guys told me that you love this product, and then a lot of you guys said that you hate this product. So it's one of those products that gets such mixed reviews. When I did get it, like the packaging had popped out and it was kind of like face down in the lid. So at first I was like, maybe it dried out a little bit, but I don't know how that would really affect it because it normally comes with the lid on it like this. So I don't know. I just think it was a complete fail for me, and I don't want to purchase another shade hoping that would work for me because I just had a really bad experience with this product. I just felt like it wasn't good, to be honest. Okay, those are all of the makeup products that I am leaving behind in 2022. Honestly, it feels good to be leaving these behind and not have them in my makeup collection any longer because they were just taking up space. I wasn't reaching for them, I wasn't using them, and now, or whenever I declutter, I feel like I just have a clearer picture as to what I have in my collection, and I can use products and reach for products I know I'll love. So that is the end of my declutter video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you like declutter videos, I'll put some on the screen for you so you can check them out now, but I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.